Welcome to the Professional Women's Wellness Podcast. I am your host, Dr. Peggy Gleason, creator of the Mindful Eating Approach, where I help professional women and business owners with a tailored path to weight loss and self-confidence without the stress of restrictive diets, time-consuming exercise regimes, or medications. I help you transform your eating habits to enhance all areas of your wellness, and we always offer inspiration, motivation, and education with amazing gifts.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peggy Gleason. As a certified psychology of eating coach, integrative health coach with over 40 years of critical care nursing, I've spent my entire adult life, helping people with their health. And now I focus on guiding women to become more aware of their eating habits so they can enjoy food without guilt and build a healthier relationship with their body so they can feel confident in every aspect of their life. Although there are many eating habits, I'd like to address emotional eating. Now, most people think emotional eating is just about overeating or indulging in the wrong foods. But I have seen in my experience how emotional eating is deeply connected to deal with life's challenges, whether it's stress, boredom, sadness, loneliness, fatigue, even joy. All of these trigger emotional eating. Well, they can anyway. But here's the thing. It's not just what you eat, which is important, but it's not just what you eat. It's about the when, why, how, and where you eat. And we're going to explore these patterns together. And by the end of my time here, I hope you'll see that breaking away from emotional eating is less about rigid control and more about self-awareness, income, and understanding, and making choices that support you. So thinking about the fact that it's not just food itself, it's about why you're reaching for it in the first place is what is important to know. You got to know what's driving you. So, and I just want to add this real quick. It's not about willpower. We always beat ourselves up because, oh, I have no willpower. But that's not all of it. After years of working with women, I know that food is not the enemy. The real issue is how we use food to cope with our emotions. And once we understand that, we can start making changes that don't rely on restriction or guilt or self-criticism. Instead, we approach eating with self-awareness and compassion. I'm going to touch on the 5 key factors that influence our eating habits. And I mentioned them already. So we're going to start with when you eat. Now, all of these key components are like puzzle pieces that fit together that help us to understand our emotional eating. So timing matters. If you're eating late at night when your body should be winding down, or whether it's skipping meals during the day and then really eating a lot at dinner, that's important to notice. And what's interesting is, did you know that our eating schedules often mirror the chaos in our lives? For example, when I was a critical care nurse, I would eat whenever I could squeeze in just a few minutes. And that pattern stuck with me for years. I was a single mom of 3 little kids working 12-hour shifts, running a big unit. I was always busy, as you can only imagine, right? Because you're not only a parent, but you're taking care of everything in the home too. But knowing and being aware of when you're most vulnerable, like maybe late night cravings or that mid-afternoon slump, just that awareness can help you make better choices. Your metabolism is also at its highest peak between noon and 2. So keep that in mind as far as when you're eating. Better to eat less at night and more in the middle or beginning of the day. So why you eat is the heart of emotional eating. Are you eating because you're hungry? Perhaps. Or maybe you are stressed, bored, or anxious. But recognizing the personalized personal triggers, whether it's a tough day at work or just a need for distraction, helps you address the real issues instead of turning to food for comfort. Now, how you eat is really interesting because speed eating was how we grew up. I remember when I was younger, living at home, we had three active firefighters in the house, and they ate like their own pants were on fire. And I thought eating fast was normal. And I ended up eating fast my entire life until I learned that it was not helpful for my health. Not only was my digestion totally in disarray, but I wasn't really absorbing all the nutrients either. And eating fast does nothing for your metabolism. And in fact, eating fast slows your metabolism, which is not what we expect, right? But eating slower will speed up your metabolism. And I think that's what's really interesting. So I want you to ask yourself, are you really rushing through meals because your mind is on the next thing, which is kind of what we do? Or are we snacking mindlessly while watching TV? What are we doing? We have to really notice some of our patterns and triggers. So how you eat can affect everything, as I said, from digestion to satisfaction. Sometimes we eat and we don't even remember the flavors, right? So mindful eating, slowing down, being present can really help you enjoy your food more and prevent overeating. So, of course, we know what we eat is important, and I think we all agree with that. But our food choices often reflect our emotional state as well. When we're stressed or sad or angry, we tend to crave comfort foods, which are sugary, fatty snacks that feel good in the moment, but don't serve us in the long term. The next time, ask yourself, is this food really nourishing me? Or am I just looking for a quick fix? Now, where you eat is important. Your environment plays a big role in your eating habits. So are you eating in the car, in front of a screen, be it a TV, an iPad, a phone? Are you eating at your desk? Are you standing by the refrigerator eating? What we call that is mindless eating. Most times you cannot determine how much you have eaten when you eat mindlessly. Think about the time you're in a movie and you have this big tub of popcorn. You're watching the movie, paying attention to the movie and eating, and one thing leads to another. All of a sudden, you're at the bottom of the popcorn container. Isn't that crazy? But it's just not the best thing for your digestion either. So creating a calm, intentional space for meals can help you eat more mindfully. And there's more and more and more that I teach in my mindful eating course. It can also create a very enjoyable experience with food. And that's what we all want, right? But now that we understand the factors influencing our eating habits, I want to give you a couple suggestions, because I think now you could probably make real changes. And I'm not suggesting a drastic overhaul, but 2 small intentional shifts can make a difference. And I'm going to give you these two things that you can implement today. So the first one is I invite you to pause before the next time you reach for food. Now, just check in to see how you're feeling and what you're thinking before you eat or before you grab the food. Maybe you're in a handy mart getting coffee and you're looking for a snack. Ask yourself, am I really hungry? Or how hungry am I? And do I really want this? Is it something I'm really, really dying to have? Oftentimes, we just grab whatever's there, again, because of convenience. So this pause will help you just to be aware of any triggers or patterns that you have. The other thing you can do today, and this is really interesting because this was where I had to work the hardest because I ate quickly, is when you eat your next meal and you pick up your fork and put the food in your mouth, I want you to put the fork down and let go of it. It sounds crazy, but it really works. When you put the fork down, just eat. Just chew your food, hopefully a little slower because you're noticing. And then just notice different things, like you taste different spices or different flavors. Maybe look at your plate. What does it look like? Is there different colors? Are things touching each other, right? But I want you to not pick your food up your fork up, excuse me, until you swallow that food. It's really, really important to complete that one bite of food, just to teach yourself awareness. So as I come to a close, I love talking to you, and I'm honored to be here. I just want to make sure you remember what we just I'm going to recap it. Emotional eating isn't just about the food. It's about the feelings, the thoughts, and the habits behind it. And the good news is that you have the power to change your relationship with food by becoming aware of the when, why, how, what, and where of your eating habits. Remember, this is not about perfection. It's about progress. Always remember, everything you do is that way. You're not expected to have everything figured out right now, but you're taking the first baby step, and that's what counts. If anything I've shared with you today is resonating with you and you're ready to dive deeper, I have something special for you. I am offering a free assessment tool that will serve as giving you an awareness of your eating habits and patterns. So make sure you grab it to begin your awareness, curiosity, and start making changes today. There will also be links to join me for a complimentary consultation to help you learn your next steps. Because sometimes we know we want to do, but we're not really sure what's the next step. So keep showing up, stay curious, and remember, small shifts lead to big changes. You've got this, and I'm cheering you on every step of the way.
Thanks for listening and supporting the Professional Women's Wellness Podcast. If you would like to attend training sessions by our amazing podcast guests and have a chance to connect, join the Professional Women's Wellness newsletter. For more details and to sign up, scan the QR code or click the link in the description. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a 5-star rating on Apple Podcast. Each week, we will select a reviewer who will receive free access to my $197 course, Goodbye Night Bites, a 30-day journey to stop emotional eating at night. Please subscribe to get notifications of future episodes.